Hi, Christy Hill, Hill Prophetics. This is about the deep loneliness of a child. Born to a mother who never wed, she took out her frustrations on her children instead. Abuses came in different ways from a drunken mother and fits of rage. This child had fathers, different men here and there, but not one single one would ever really care about this child so desperately alone. My mom took me to a daycare when I was about 3. She left to go drinking and she never came back for me. The police found my dad, put me back in that same home. A child so abandoned and desperately alone. Mom and Dad fighting. I'm about 4. No one noticed me. I was so close to the floor. In the kitchen, after cooking their dinner steaks, they'd leave that broiler door open, which was a huge mistake. Rushing me to the hospital after this neglect, the pain and the confusion I'd soon try to forget. Parents trying to help the hospital staff understand how this toddler's hand ended up cooked to a pan. Still, I ended up back in this home, a child so neglected and desperately alone. A year or so passed and there's a new daddy in town, but in the summer months they wouldn't want me around. They would send my brother and I away to an uncle and a grandfather. In separate houses we would have to stay. This is where sexual abuse would find me again and again. Although predators would find me throughout the rest of my life, using this child as their make-believe wife. At first I thought, what's wrong with them? But soon I'd see it couldn't be all of them. It had to be me. A child so confused and desperately alone. A preteen now trying to make sense of this game, learning how to hide my guilt and my shame. You see, at some point I began to enjoy the abuse of these men, using my body to mop up their sin. Somehow I came to believe in my own little mind that this life was the norm for every single child that was born. I became pregnant, alone, unwed. I couldn't make any right choices. Everything was all jumbled and mixed up in my head. I chose an abortion, not knowing what was in store. You see, the traumatic experience was a wide open door for a demon that entered my life. A giant, bloody baby chasing me with a knife. Night after night, every single dream, this baby would chase me and I would run and I would scream. Though I was a teen now and almost grown, I was still just a child so desperately alone. My adult life was marred by bad choices as well. Drugs, alcohol, a marriage from hell. I was practically kidnapped and held prisoner for a year by an abusive husband who kept me in fear. He'd leave and be gone for days at a time, leaving me alone with no food, no car, no TV, no phone. Adult, yet child, so desperately alone. I feared him so much there was no place to hide. My only comfort came through thoughts of suicide. But somehow God spared my life, even when I decided to leave and no longer be this man's wife. 2 weeks old is this baby in my arms. God gave her to me to protect her from life's hurts and harms. What? You've got to be kidding. Is this some kind of joke? Yeah, that's my testimony in a nutshell. I know that most of you know about what has happened recently as far as my marriage and separation and how bad that was, and then the violent sexual assault and all the complex PTSD that I'm going through. But believe it or not, it's the circumstances of my childhood that taught me to learn how to hear the voice of God. If you're interested in more content like this or how to hear from God, please like, share, follow. It would really help me out a lot. Thank you. Have a blessed day.